All right, so you're thinking about becoming a shoemaker and you've got an interview coming up, feeling a little nervous.
Understandable. It's a big step. But don't worry, we're going to equip you with everything you need to nail that interview using some fantastic resources from RoleCatcher.
Yeah, think of this as your secret weapon for success. We're going to use RoleCatcher's sample interview questions to walk you through what to expect and how to answer like a pro.
And the best part is we'll sprinkle in some AI magic from RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
It can actually analyze those job descriptions and make sure your resume is tailored to highlight the skills they're looking for.
It's like having a resume makeover to make sure you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive right in with a question that's almost guaranteed to come up. Tell us about your experience in shoemaking. Now, what if you're just starting out and don't have a ton of experience yet?
That's a great question and a common one. Don't sweat it.
Mm.
Even if you haven't been crafting shoes professionally, you can still showcase your passion and any skills you have that could transfer over.
Right. Think about hobbies or projects that involve similar techniques. What comes to mind?
Absolutely. Things like leatherworking or sewing,
Yeah.
even model building. RoleCatcher emphasizes those kinds of things because they show you've got dexterity and attention to detail. All those things are super important in shoemaking.
Definitely. And it shows you love working with your hands. You could say something like, well, I'm really excited to learn the specific techniques of shoemaking. My experience in your hobby has given me a solid foundation in working with materials and understanding how things are constructed.
Perfect. That shows you're a quick learner and adaptable. And here's a pro tip from RoleCatcher's AI. If the job description mentions specific materials like leather, try to weave that into your answer.
Oh, good catch. Like, I'm fascinated by the versatility of leather, and I'm excited to apply my experience in your hobby to mastering shoemaking techniques.
Exactly. That connection can really make your answer stand out. Now, another question they might ask is, how do you ensure quality when making a shoe? It's about proving you're not just winging it, right?
You want to demonstrate that you're meticulous and have a process for checking your work at each stage, even if you're still learning what those stages are.
Think of it like this. Every step is a quality checkpoint. You could say something like, while I'm still developing my shoemaking expertise, I believe in the importance of accuracy and attention to detail. In my previous experience, I've always been super meticulous about measuring, checking for flaws, and making adjustments to ensure the final product meets high standards.
That's a solid answer. And RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you fine-tune it. Let's say the job description mentions customer satisfaction. The AI might suggest adding a phrase like, and ultimately exceeding customer expectations.
Smart. It shows you're thinking about the bigger picture of quality beyond just the technical stuff. Okay, let's tackle a question that can be a little tricky. Describe a time you had to troubleshoot a problem while making a shoe. What if you haven't really had any shoemaking disasters yet?
No worries. That's where those transferable skills come in again. Problem solving isn't limited to just shoes. Think about a time you faced a challenge and found a solution.
It could be anything, like having to adapt a sewing pattern, fixing a broken zipper, even troubleshooting a tech issue. It's all about showing you can think critically and be creative.
You could say something like, while I haven't had the chance to troubleshoot specific shoemaking problems yet, I'm a pretty resourceful problem solver. For example, when describe your problem and solution, I used research experimentation and adaptability to get past that obstacle.
Now, that's a great way to demonstrate your approach to challenges. And get this, RoleCatcher's AI can actually tailor your answer even further. Let's say the job description emphasizes working independently. The AI might suggest you highlight how you figured out the solution on your own.
Awesome. It shows you can take initiative and own the problem-solving process.
Okay, let's shift gears for a minute and look at RoleCatcher's career guide. It's packed with insights about different career paths you can explore in shoemaking.
It's not just about fixing shoes. You could specialize in orthopedic footwear design, unique pieces for clients, or even teach others how to make shoes. Wow, so many possibilities. RoleCatcher really does open your eyes to all the options. Okay, back to those interview questions. Another common one is, how do you stay up to date with new shoemaking techniques and trends?
It's your chance to shine as a lifelong learner. Shoemaking is constantly evolving, so showing you're eager to keep learning is key. RoleCatcher suggests mentioning specific industry resources you follow.
Like trade publications or blogs, online communities, even workshops. It shows you're actively engaged in learning and growing your knowledge.
It paints a picture of someone who's genuinely passionate about their craft and eager to stay ahead of the curve. You could say something like, I'm really interested in staying current with the latest advancements in shoemaking. I regularly read mentioned publications or blogs, and I'd love to take workshops to learn new techniques.
And here's where RoleCatcher's AI can provide a little extra boost.
Ah.
Let's say the job description mentions sustainability.
Mm.
The AI might suggest you talk about your interest in eco-friendly materials or production methods.
Great point. You could add something like, I'm especially interested in learning more about sustainable practices in shoemaking and incorporating them into my work.
Perfect. It shows you've done your research and care about the environmental impact. Now let's dive into a question that might feel a bit intimidating. Can you describe a particularly challenging shoe you've made? What if you haven't tackled any grand masterpieces yet?
Don't worry, it's not about how complex the shoe is, it's about the challenges you faced and how you overcame them. Even a simple project can have its hurdles.
Right. Think about a time you had to work with a difficult material, adapt a design, or solve an unexpected problem. The key is to highlight your problem-solving skills and your dedication to quality.
You could say something like, while I'm still building my shoemaking portfolio, I've definitely run into challenges that have pushed me to learn and adapt. For example, when describe your challenge and how you overcame it, it taught me the importance of patience, precision, and thinking outside the box.
Now here's a tip from RoleCatcher's AI. If the job description emphasizes a particular skill, like pattern making, try to weave in an example related to that, even if it's from a different project.
Oh, that's clever. Like, I had to adapt a complex pattern for a different project, which required me to carefully analyze the design and make precise adjustments for a perfect fit.
That's a great way to connect your experience to the job requirements. All right, let's talk about a question that gets at the heart of customer interaction. How do you ensure that each shoe you make reflects the customer's personal style?
Even if you haven't worked directly with clients yet, you can show you understand the importance of personalization and attention to detail.
RoleCatcher emphasizes active listening and clear communication. You could say something like, I believe every shoe should be a reflection of the wearer's individuality. I'd start by carefully listening to the customer's preferences and asking questions to understand their lifestyle and what the shoe is for.
That's a great start. Then you can talk about your approach to incorporating design elements, materials, and colors that fit their vision.
Exactly. For example, you could say, I love how different materials and colors can create a certain mood or aesthetic. I'd use my knowledge of design to create a shoe that not only fits well, but also expresses the customer's personality.
Beautifully said. It shows you're not just a technician, you're an artist who gets the power of shoes to tell a story. Okay, now for a question everyone needs to be ready for. Can you tell us about a time when you had to work with a difficult customer? We all know they can be tricky.
Absolutely. It happens in every industry. The key is to focus on your professionalism and problem-solving skills, even under pressure.
You want to choose an example that highlights your patience, your ability to be diplomatic, and your skill in finding solutions that work for everyone.
It could be a time you had to deal with a customer who wasn't happy with a repair, or someone who had super specific and challenging requests.
Explain the situation clearly and the steps you took to understand their concerns. Then describe how you found a resolution.
And here's where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful. It can analyze the job description and point at the soft skills related to customer service and conflict resolution that the employer is looking for.
So if the job description highlights things like excellent communication skills or ability to handle difficult situations, RoleCatcher might suggest focusing on an example where you successfully calmed things down and found a solution that met the customer's needs while also staying within company policies.
Great point. Now, before we move on, let's take a quick look at another important tip from RoleCatcher's career guide, building a portfolio.
A portfolio is like your shoemaking resume brought to life. It's a chance to show off your skills and creativity in a tangible way, even if you're just starting out.
It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be pictures of shoes you've repaired, sketches of designs you've come up with, even samples of materials you've experimented with.
It's all about demonstrating your passion and your ability to take ideas and turn them into real shoes. Think of it as a visual story of your shoemaking journey so far. It's a great way to make a lasting impression.
And as you gain more experience, you can keep adding to it and show your growth as a shoemaker.
Absolutely. So there you have it. We've covered some of the most common interview questions and how to approach them using RoleCatcher's incredible resources.
And we've sprinkled in some AI magic from RoleCatcher to make sure you're really tailoring your answers and showcasing the skills employers are looking for.
Remember, practice makes perfect, so use those sample questions from RoleCatcher and the AI feedback to really hone your responses.
All right, are you ready for more? In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore even more interview strategies and dive deeper into those exciting career paths you can pursue in the world of shoemaking.
So stay tuned. We'll be back with more tips and insights to help you launch a successful and fulfilling career as a shoemaker.
We'll see you soon. Welcome back to our shoemaking deep dive. We've talked about tailoring your answers to those interview questions, but now let's see how RoleCatcher's AI can really make that process a breeze.
It's seriously like having a secret decoder ring for those job descriptions. It takes all the guesswork out of figuring out what they're really looking for.
Okay, so picture this. The job description says, experience with lasting techniques, particularly for Goodyear welted construction.
Ooh, whoa.
That sounds super specific. Maybe even a bit intimidating if you're just starting out.
I hear you. But that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. It can actually analyze those phrases and connect the dots, even if you don't have experience with that exact technique. It can suggest skills from other areas that might be relevant.
So like if you've done any precise hand stitching or assembled intricate models, even repairing furniture where you had to carefully align and join pieces, those experiences could be super valuable.
Exactly. RoleCatcher helps you translate those experiences into shoemaking language and highlights the skills that employers are looking for. It's like turning your existing skills into shoemaking gold.
So instead of saying, I'm good at sewing, you could say, I'm proficient in hand-stitching techniques that require precision and attention to detail, which are essential for mastering Goodyear welted construction.
Boom! Now you're speaking their language and showing them you've got the potential, even if you're still learning the ropes.
And the best part is, RoleCatcher's AI can suggest specific words and phrases to use, so you're really hitting those key points. It's like having a cheat sheet for interview success.
Speaking of success, let's talk about practice. We all know practice makes perfect, but RoleCatcher's AI takes it to a whole new level with its feedback feature.
It's like having a personal interview coach right in your pocket. You record yourself answering those tough questions, and then the AI gives you personalized suggestions on how to improve.
Think about getting feedback on your body language, your tone of voice, even the specific words you use. It can really boost your confidence and make sure you're presenting yourself in the best possible light.
And the feedback is tailored to the specific job you're applying for, so you're hitting all the right notes. It takes so much stress out of interview prep. Okay, let's take a little break from the interview questions and explore those exciting career paths you can pursue in the world of shoemaking. RoleCatcher's Career Guide is a goldmine of information here.
It really is. You're not limited to just repairing shoes. You could specialize in orthopedic footwear, become a bespoke shoe designer, or even teach others how to make shoes.
So many options. Let's start with orthopedic shoemaking. What's so cool about this path is that it combines craftsmanship with healthcare. You're creating shoes that not only look good, but also help people with specific foot conditions live more comfortably.
You're like a shoe doctor. You need to understand anatomy and biomechanics and then use those skills to create custom footwear that meets individual needs. It's incredibly rewarding.
Now, if design and creativity are your thing, then bespoke footwear design might be the perfect fit. You work one-on-one with clients to create those dream shoes that reflect their style, their personality, everything.
It's like being a fashion designer, but for shoes. You get to blend artistry and craftsmanship with customer service to make those shoe dreams a reality.
And for those who love sharing their knowledge, becoming a shoemaking instructor is an amazing option. You could teach workshops, mentor apprentices, or even develop your own curriculum.
It's all about passing on those skills and keeping the tradition of shoemaking alive and thriving. RoleCatcher's Career Guide really does a fantastic job of not just helping you prepare for that first job, but also opening your eyes to all the amazing possibilities out there.
It's not just about getting a job, it's about creating a career you love.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions. One that often comes up is, how do you ensure that your shoemaking process is efficient and cost-effective? Now, this might seem like it's geared towards more experienced shoemakers, but everyone can show they understand these concepts.
That's right. Even if you haven't managed a workshop yet, you can still talk about your awareness of efficiency and cost. Think about any project where you had to plan your steps, manage resources, maybe even stick to a budget.
It could be anything. Organizing a craft project, planning a trip, even figuring out the most efficient way to pack your suitcase. It's all about showing you can think strategically about processes and find ways to streamline things.
Exactly. You could say something like, while I'm still developing my shoemaking workflow, I understand the importance of being efficient with time and resources. In my previous experience with mention your example, I learned how to prioritize tasks, minimize waste, and get creative to stay within budget constraints.
That's a great way to connect your experience to the world of shoemaking. And RoleCatcher's AI can give you some extra guidance here. Let's say the job description mentions lean manufacturing principles. The AI might suggest using keywords like process optimization or waste reduction.
Smart. It shows you're familiar with the lingo and that you're thinking about things from a professional standpoint.
All right, now for a question that's all about deadlines. Can you describe a time when you had to work under a tight deadline to complete a shoe? Even if you haven't faced shoemaking deadlines yet, you've probably encountered deadlines in other areas of your life.
Of course, think about school projects, work assignments, even personal goals you've set for yourself. It's all about showing you can handle pressure, manage your time, and get things done.
You could say, "While I haven't worked on shoemaking projects with strict deadlines, yet I'm definitely comfortable working under pressure. When I was working on mentioning your example, I had to juggle multiple tasks, stay organized, and make sure I maintained a high level of quality even with time constraints."
That's a perfect way to highlight your time management skills. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answer even further. If the job description emphasizes meeting deadlines and working under pressure, it might suggest focusing on an example where you delivered a project successfully despite unexpected challenges or tight deadlines.
Love that. Okay, let's talk about a question that gets at the heart of what makes a good shoe comfort. How do you ensure that each shoe you make is comfortable for the customer to wear? This is where empathy and understanding the human foot come in.
Absolutely. It's not just about looks. It's about making a shoe that fits properly, provides support, and allows the wearer to move freely and comfortably. RoleCatcher suggests emphasizing your knowledge of different foot types and the importance of accurate measurements.
You can say something like, "I believe comfort is super important in shoemaking. I would always start by taking precise measurements and considering the customer's foot type and any specific needs they might have. I'm also really interested in learning more about the biomechanics of the foot and how to design shoes that promote proper alignment and support."
That's a great foundation. And if you've ever had to adjust a shoe for comfort, like adding padding or adjusting straps, that's a great example to share.
Even if you're new to shoemaking, you can highlight your understanding of ergonomics and how to design things with the human body in mind.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to a question that lets you really showcase your skills and passion. Can you tell us about a particularly challenging shoe you have made? This is your chance to shine.
It's your opportunity to talk about a project that pushed you creatively and technically, even if it wasn't a super complex masterpiece. It could be a tricky repair.
Hmm.
You tackled a new material, you experimented with a unique design you came up with.
The important thing is to explain what made it challenging, the steps you took to overcome those obstacles, and what you learned along the way. It's about showing your problem-solving skills and your dedication to creating amazing shoes.
You could say, "While I'm still early in my shoemaking journey, I've definitely faced challenges that have helped me grow. For example, when I was working on Describe Your Challenge, I had to research different techniques, experiment with materials, and really persevere to achieve the result I wanted."
That's a great way to highlight your dedication and resourcefulness. And as always, RoleCatcher's AI can help you fine-tune your answer to fit the specific job description.
So if they're looking for experience with leatherworking techniques or knowledge of different shoe construction methods, RoleCatcher might suggest focusing on a project that highlighted those skills.
Makes sense. Now let's explore a question that's all about connecting with customers and creating personalized footwear. How do you ensure that each shoe you make is unique and reflects the customer's personal style? This one's all about showing your understanding of individual needs, your communication skills, and your ability to translate ideas into actual designs.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes asking those insightful questions to understand the customer's preferences, their lifestyle, what they'll be using the shoes for. Are they looking for everyday wear, a statement piece, something comfortable for specific activities?
It's about getting that full picture and then using your design skills to make it a reality. You could say something like, "I think every shoe should be a reflection of the person wearing it." I would always start by having a conversation with the customer to understand their style, their lifestyle, and the purpose of the shoe. Then I'd use my knowledge of design materials and construction techniques to create a shoe that not only meets their practical needs, but also expresses their individual aesthetic.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It shows you're not just a technician, you're an artist who understands the power of shoes to express someone's personality. Even if you haven't worked directly with clients yet, you can still highlight those skills.
Absolutely. Okay, now for a question that can sometimes be a little tricky, but it's important to be prepared for. Can you tell us about a time when you had to work with a difficult customer? This is your chance to show off those interpersonal skills, your ability to stay calm under pressure, and find solutions that work for everyone.
Every industry has those challenging customers, and shoemaking is no exception. The key here is to choose an example that shows your patience, your diplomacy, and your problem-solving skills.
Maybe it was a customer who wasn't happy with the repair, or someone who had very specific and challenging requests that required some creative thinking and clear communication.
Explain the situation, the steps you took to understand their concerns, and how you ultimately found a resolution that addressed their needs while still staying professional and upholding the company's standards.
This is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful. It can actually analyze the job description to figure out which soft skills related to customer service and conflict resolution are most important for the role.
So if the job description emphasizes excellent communication skills or ability to handle difficult situations, RoleCatcher might suggest you focus on an example where you successfully de-escalated a conflict and found a solution that worked for both the customer and the company.
It's all about tailoring your answer to show them you have the specific qualities they're looking for.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our shoemaking journey, let's take a moment to talk about the power of a portfolio.
Ah, yes, the shoemaker's secret weapon. Even if you're just starting out, a portfolio can make a huge difference. It's a visual way to show off your skills, your creativity, your passion for shoemaking.
It doesn't have to be anything fancy or elaborate. It could be photos of shoes you've repaired, sketches of designs you've created, even just samples of materials you've worked with. The key is to showcase what you can do.
Think of it as a physical representation of your resume. It brings your skills and experience to life.
And here's a pro tip. If you're comfortable with digital design tools, you can create a virtual portfolio using platforms like Behance or Dribbble. That way you can easily share your work online in a professional format.
Now, RoleCatcher doesn't specifically have portfolio building tools, but their resources on showcasing your skills and experience are amazing. They can help you create a compelling resume, write a strong cover letter, and build your online presence.
So even if you don't have a physical portfolio yet, you can still use those resources to create a strong personal brand that highlights your shoemaking talent.
And remember, your portfolio is a work in progress. As you gain experience and learn new things, you can keep adding to it and refining it. It should grow and evolve right alongside you on your shoemaking journey.
Welcome back to our final deep dive into the world of shoemaking. We've talked about nailing that interview and all the amazing career paths you can explore, but now it's time for a little extra inspiration.
RoleCatcher doesn't just help you get the job, it sets you up for a successful and fulfilling career in this awesome industry.
And that brings us to continuous learning. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that the best shoemakers are always learning, always growing, and always looking for new techniques and trends.
It's like any craft. You never really stop learning. There are always new materials to try out, new technologies to explore, new challenges to conquer.
And RoleCatcher gives you the tools to stay ahead of the game. Their career guide recommends going to workshops and conferences, checking out industry blogs and publications, and connecting with other shoemakers online or in person.
It's all about building that network of inspiration and expertise. Imagine learning a centuries-old technique from a master shoemaker or collaborating with a designer who's pushing the boundaries of what shoes can be.
And let's not forget about sustainability. It's becoming more and more important in every industry, and shoemaking is no exception. As people become more conscious of their choices, the demand for sustainable and ethically produced footwear is only going to grow.
So true. Imagine being a part of that movement, experimenting with plant-based leathers and recycled materials, coming up with production processes that minimize waste.
You could be a pioneer in sustainable footwear, creating shoes that are not only beautiful and functional, but also good for the planet.
Exactly. So as you're preparing for that interview and thinking about your future in this industry, remember that you have the power to shape the future of shoemaking. Your passion, your skills, your commitment to continuous learning, it all makes a difference.
Before we say goodbye, let's do a quick recap of some of the key things we've talked about. First, preparation is key. RoleCatcher has those amazing sample interview questions and AI-powered tools that can help you craft those perfect answers and really shine in that interview.
Second, don't underestimate those transferable skills. Even if you're brand new to shoemaking, your experience in other areas can be a huge asset. RoleCatcher's AI can help you highlight those connections and show employers what you're capable of.
Third, be open to exploring different paths within the shoemaking world. RoleCatcher's career guide is packed with information about all sorts of possibilities, from orthopedic footwear to bespoke design to teaching. There's a perfect path out there for everyone.
And finally, never stop learning. The world of shoemaking is constantly evolving. So stay curious, seek out new knowledge, and never be afraid to experiment and push your creative boundaries.
That's it for our deep dive into the world of shoemaking. We hope you feel inspired, prepared, and ready to step into this incredible career with confidence.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there with you every step of the way, providing the resources and support you need to make your shoemaking dreams a reality.
That's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us, and keep those shoes shining.